Good evening to all pro wrestling fans of all shapes and sizes from all around the world. Welcome to a very special pro wrestling talk brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the U to the Tube. I'm your main host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram, but tonight I am not coming at you alone. Oh, no. See, I have brought a good friend of mine that is well versed in pro wrestling and has quite a bit to bring to the table. And not only that, he is a well known boxing fan, and you might recognize his voice from the Pound for Pound Boxing Report. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for my good friend, Rawkus.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're doing a back to back. It's luckily last night, Blitz, you were my humble guest when we discussed some things, and I'm very much glad to be here and helping you out in this situation as well.
Appreciate you being here, and I tell you, you came at the right time because, whew, I know we had talked previously, and this was kind of difficult for me to do alone. So I thank you for responding on such short notice, but very much quick on the draw.
Eh, What we do, it's what we do, man.
So, couple of things gonna rap about tonight. Um, First, we're gonna start off with some unfortunate news that I'm sure a lot of the Joshi fans have gotten caught up with. Oh, Dreamstar fighting Marigold. Oh, have they taken quite a massive hit and seem to be pretty down on their luck as the Marigold roster has suffered another devastating injury, this time to the super rookie of Seri Yamaoka, who unfortunately in the title match against Maddie Morgan at Shinjuku Face, um, dislocated her left shoulder as she was taking the bump from hitting a regular drop kick. Now, as she took that bump, she rose up, holding her shoulder. Of course, shout out to referee Tommy for immediately checking on her and just taking her time. And also shout out to Maddie Morgan for just taking the time to like check on her after the X sign was thrown up. She went over and comforted Seri Yamaoka. So shout out to both of them for really just being smart and quick to notice that something was wrong and to just cease everything. So you really like to see that more and more when these things unfortunately happen. But I have to say, I give her a lot of credit for even doing the backstage segment as she was there literally holding and dangling her left shoulder. Raucus, what was your initial reaction? What were your thoughts after seeing and hearing about this injury to Seri Yamaoka?
Well, when I first saw the clip of it happening, I got scared because unfortunately it's a non-contact injury.
Right.
Those are usually the worst kinds to get.
True.
And obviously, like Seri recognized it immediately. The referee jumped in. They were able to handle the situation as fast as they could. More than likely, Seri was probably going to be scheduled to lose the match anyway because Manny Morgan is going to go back to the UK soon, and that BW belt is a UK belt.
Yes.
So I wouldn't be surprised if she was slated to lose the match to begin with. And then Seri put out on Twitter first, like, oh yeah, I usually tape up my shoulder, I like I said, I didn't do it this time. I'm gonna take time to get injuries, and also to be fair, now usually some of the other comments came in from people that really don't want to see Margot succeed, let alone exist.
Unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. And she responded to that, and in doing so, she revealed something that I had suspected once I saw the X-rays,
Mm-hmm.
that she has been having this type of issues with this dislocating her shoulders since middle school.
Yeah,
Yeah,
quite scary.
yeah. Now, if you're wondering, folks, why that should happen when it comes to middle school, Seri has a pretty, she's pretty well known and has a pretty good background when it comes to amateur wrestling.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I think if I'm correct, she had potential to being an Olympian.
Yes.
And it probably would have been for the 2028 games. But obviously, she chose not to go that route and go to pro wrestling. And she mentioned that she's had to tape up her shoulders. She has had to do that. And when you think about it, unfortunately, when it comes to athletics, amateur athletics, especially if you have somebody who, where if they're middle school, your age range in middle school is normally like 10 to 13, normally
Mm-hmm.
at that point, if we're judging it from the standards here in the US. That's prodigy level.
Yes. Agreed.
And unfortunately, some coaches, when they feel they have a prodigy, they tend to ignore or try to sweep injuries like this under the rug. And unfortunately, the athletes, they get used to it. And unfortunately, yeah, Seri could have easily gone the route of still being an amateur, whether preparing for the Olympics or going in the World Championship route, which means she would do it for a living. But she chose pro wrestling,
Yep.
and but in doing so, unfortunately, the bad part is she brought in all of that injury situation with her, and now you're in a scenario where it's almost it's almost as bad in a way to what Micah revealed last year.
Oh, that's a good example.
Yeah, because folks, if you don't remember, Micah on a press conference when Mayu announced that she was leaving Stardom, announced that she had to essentially get Tommy John surgery,
Yep.
and it was because her elbow was injured for essentially the entire time she's been in Stardom.
Yes.
And it got to the point where she even said it, like she drank to handle the pain.
Yeah. Literally, y'all. He's not kidding. Literally.
Yeah. And I think Sari put herself in that situation because, like I mentioned, she was a prodigy level prospect
Yes.
in amateur wrestling. And when you're at that point, you put a lot of pressure on yourself.
Right.
So she probably did enough where she said, I'm going to push through. I'm going to make sure I'm not going to let people down. But that's a lot of stress to put in at somebody that young. Like she's not even 20 years old, folks.
Yeah. Currently 19. Won't be 20 until November.
Mm-hmm. So like I said, like she's technically, like I said, every Jamaican side, she's not old enough to drink. And this this comes, like I said, for Margot, it comes at an absolute bad time. Because
Right.
obviously you still have Mayu out with injury. You still have Vittoria Yuzuki out with injury. You're hoping that the cut that Kokiyama Ray suffered in Shine Forever doesn't have to take that long to heal.
Word
and
is, I think 1 to 2 weeks, and she should be good.
mhm, which is what we're hoping, like I said, just in case.
Yeah.
And luckily as well, like I said, even though she's not signed to the company, but she is holding one of her belts, Arena Yamanaka, recovering from a broken orbital bone,
Mm-hmm.
like an injury that you do not want to mess with.
Right. Had to get surgery for it and all.
Mm-hmm. So, like at least at a top level, like Margot is pretty hurting right now, and they were counting on Seri to fill the gap in many ways
Yep.
for those people for the time being, because in a short amount of time she's become very, very popular.
Yes, and I have to add as well, being somebody that was at the first ever Marigold First Dream show where she had her debut, like a couple of days before that at the New Year's Eve show, she was just like helping out with like setups and taking pictures and helping assisting the meet and greets and merch sales. And then after she had her debut match against Mirai, that meet and greet after the show, she had a ginormous line. So it didn't take long for her to really catch eyes of the fans and really ascend levels upon levels leading up to her first championship with Nanae Takahashi.
Yeah, winning, like I said, winning the Twin Star Championships, and was probably in the running to be the ones to take off the belt of Doctor's Revolution, her and Shino,
Yep.
as like a spunky monster. Probably the main reason they didn't is because Shino's still going to school.
Yes.
And so there's a lot of it riding on Seri, and like I said, it almost feels like with Margot in certain ways, they take one step forward and they have to take 2 steps back. But
Yeah.
it's not something where like, oh, they booked themselves into a corner. It's just mainly the nature of athletics, and when it comes to wrestling, like people get hurt.
Right.
And sadly, in the world of Joshi, you tend to play hurt a lot more than most other people. That does catch up with you in the end. And now for
Mm-hmm.
Seri, that's definitely going to catch up with her, because I know she mentioned she doesn't want to get surgery. If you look at that X-ray, I don't think that she has a choice in the matter anymore.
Yeah, bro, that left shoulder was like clearly out of socket and it looked nasty. And you can even tell if you look closely, even when she was backstage, the backstage segment, which I still think is crazy she even went through that, like it literally looked like her shoulder and arm were dangling.
Yeah, and also, like I said, shout out to her professionalism
Yeah,
in doing that. Like she had no, absolutely no need to do that. You should have just easily just gone straight to the hospital,
exactly.
and people would have completely understood. But Sari, I think, does get how much things like promos
Hmm.
affect pro wrestling. So she knows a little bit when it comes to the entertainment side, because obviously her older sister is on the entertainment side. She is a Grover idol.
Yes.
So she probably gave Sari some pointers on how to handle entertainment, how some things you need to do. It'll help you better in your career, and this will help in your career, because I'll throw another good example. Somebody that got hurt, and more than likely that promo catapulted them out into as close to the main event as she got in Stardom. Mina Shirakawa, after
Oh, yeah.
after that fall, yeah, that Sai Kamatani fell on her, breaking most of her teeth,
Yeah.
and that promo afterwards, where you saw Mina literally pour her heart out,
Yeah. I mean,
and
jacked up teeth and all.
yeah, like say like, why does this keep happening to me?
Hmm.
and the way she came back from that, to the point where if she didn't go to AEW, I'm pretty sure Mina would have the red belt already by now.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Interesting.
Like, I understand. Like I said, I understand why she went to AEW. I'm never. You should never discount somebody when it comes to position, because obviously, age wise, Mina is not. She's not in her 20s,
Right.
so it makes sense for her to strike when the iron is hot.
Yes. And at least this is somebody that is still on good terms with Stardom.
Yeah. So when you see that, I think this is gonna probably propel Sarah even higher when she comes back. Which, like I said, folks, she's probably more than likely gonna have to get surgery, which means we're not gonna see her again this year in the ring, and it'll probably be a minor miracle if she makes it to if she shows up at First Stream in 2027.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and the thing that's important, she's gotta. I think this is a time, especially considering she's 19 years old, that get the surgery, like go through the recovery. And I know we talked about this earlier, like when I had mentioned Ami Sore as an example. I mean, she literally sacrificed and took the time off to get the surgery on her torn ACL, which was crazy enough that she was wrestling on a partially torn ACL for at least 2, 3 years, which is insane. But thankfully, she made the decision, you know what, I'm feeling it. It's not in its worst condition, but the more I do this, it's going to get there at some point. Let me go ahead and take care of it now so that it's not an issue. And thankfully, it ended up paying off for her because it hasn't been an issue since then. And I think Seri Yamaoka needs to do that so
Yeah,
that she can get the necessary amount of time to fully recover so that she can, while still young, bounce back and continue her career.
yeah, that's been the whole thing. Luckily, like you mentioned it in that conversation, Ami luckily did have the benefit of the fact that Stardom was very, very top heavy when she
Hmm.
made that decision. Because, like we mentioned, Tam was around. Things
Right.
Julia was around. Utami was around. Sherry's there. So like there was a lot of, luckily, Stardom not needing Ami to be fully 100%.
Right.
If she would have made that similar decision now, I don't think she would have, because Stardom is not as top heavy
Right.
outside of Kamatani, and even if you count Utami being back.
Yeah.
Margot is not, it's unfortunately not in that position because of all the injuries. And I did forget also Kazuna Tanaka still
Yes.
on the injured list as well. But at the same time, it's probably a golden opportunity for a good amount of what has been pretty much seen that has been known as young Margot,
Hmm.
because obviously another young person, Shino, it, she could step up.
Yep.
Kamo Minami could easily step up, and looks like she's more than ready to step up.
Yes. Highly agree.
Mm-hmm. Mad, the Mad Dog,
Yuka,
definitely.
Yuka Yamazaki.
Yep,
Yes.
yep. She's definitely look ready. Nagisa Tachibana has been underrated in recent months, and you could tell like she wants to have the ball run with it.
Yes. She has really come alive within the last couple of months for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And we still have Rhea Seto
Yep. The
that
Black
wants to
Diamond.
that wants to come up in there. Hummingbird that wants to make herself a mark in that front. And even if it's not somebody young, somebody that really wants to step up, somebody like Nao Shikawa.
Yep, she's still there and definitely got to get her going, especially in the title picture as well.
Yeah. So that's that's a key factor into how they can build from that, because that's pretty much all you can do at the moment, because we don't know the timetables
Yeah,
when anybody's going to come back. I think you mentioned that looks like Mayu may have a longer time to recover, because apparently the bone in the big toe is not healing the way it should.
yeah. Apparently, it's not healing the way it should on its own, so she may need to get surgery.
Mm-hmm. It didn't help. Like I understand why you did it, Mayu. Rin did ask for you for her retirement match, but in worst case, you could have pushed the retirement match back if Rin was so intent on having you be part of it.
I truly believe if she would have said something, I think Ren would have been okay with, you know what? Sure, I can delay it and whatnot. I mean, Mayu's a good sport. I mean, we
Yeah,
all know Mayu is a good sport for doing that, and I know she did not take a lot of bumps in that match. I mean, if anything, for that being Ren's last match, she took her big share of bumps and licks in that match for sure.
yeah,
And I'm sure that Mayu Iwatani wanted to do more. And number one, I could appreciate her being willing to sell her legit injury, but to also, I mean, get in a couple of kicks on that same foot, which, like I said, great, but crazy. Mayu is crazy for that. And I just hope it didn't like help make it worse. But I really feel like if she would have just said something like, "Look, I know you're about to retire. I know this is what you want. Just can you hold off just for now? I mean, I get it, but can you hold off so that I can help give you the tag match that you really want?"
yeah. And I think they it would have been fair. Like I'm pretty sure it would have been able to hand that in that manner. But that's what I mean when it comes to pro wrestling. When it comes to particularly Joshi wrestlers, they are willing to work through the pain
Hmm.
to a degree that makes you question their sanity once the full extent of the injury is revealed.
Yeah, and
And
it made me think about Micah because, like, when she went into the detail, like how much damage over time, just dude, it could have been at a point where she would just do a simple lariat and could have just really jacked up her arm.
yeah,
Especially to the point where she had to get Tommy John surgery, which that's the type of surgery that pitchers get
mm-hmm.
from tearing that ligament from throwing like over what? Like 5,000 or more pitches a season at 90 or 100 miles per hour. Like it's just crazy.
Yeah. And I understand why people that are pretty hesitant with it, because almost nobody that has gotten that Tommy John surgery has been the same.
Right.
And but this one, luckily in this case, it wasn't an actual picture. It was somebody that, yeah, that does use her arm for her offense,
Hmm.
but she luckily she has a more varied style to it. And hopefully, like I said, I you also can get young people can be stubborn too. They can think they're immortal, but your body normally tells you when enough is enough, and I think her body told her enough is enough.
Yeah. And
But
and you know me, like a big part of me, especially with Mayu, I was like, Mayu, sit down.
yeah, it's like well, let me focus. Like one of the jokes that me, Blitz, and the group chat that we're on
Mm-hmm.
have is the fact that we believe Ibushi had Kota Ibushi is spreading the level of madness to the rest of the world of Japanese wrestling
Mm-hmm.
because Kota Ibushi is moving around, especially with the way he broke his femur, in the way
Yes,
where, as somebody who has broken their femur, somebody, what the hell are you doing?
it's
And
insane.
yeah, and then when Mayu said like, oh, because after Shine Forever, she was like, oh, I'm excited. Like I saw how they were working at it, and I feel better. I don't need to take a break. I'm just like, no, Mayu, no, Mayu, no. I want like,
Yeah, like so at that point somebody's got to step in. And it's interesting you mentioned that with Kota Ibushi because if we could be honest with ourselves, Kazuna Tanaka was on the way to that same path when you really think about it. And for those that don't know, Kazuna Tanaka is the daughter of pro wrestlers, retired pro wrestler, her mother Yumi Fukawa, known for her time back in Arson,
mm-hmm,
and then her father, who still currently wrestles, Minoru Tanaka, and with Kazuna being from a pro wrestling family, like I know I know how easy critics and folks can set expectations of, hey, you're the daughter of a pro wrestling family, like you got to get back in there. And just with the type of injury she took, I mean, she had a giant leg brace on.
yep,
And I remember seeing her, a big smile on her face as she's walking during the rehab, and just like you can tell that pro wrestling, like, adrenaline fighting spirit is so eager to get back in there. And it's just like, because Kazuna Tanaka's not that much older than Seri Yamaoka. She's 21. She's not that much older. And it's like they have to get to the point where it's like, I get it. I know how badly you want to get back in there. Your fans love you. Your fans want to see you. We all want to see you again. But it's like, your leg got jacked up. You
mm-hmm.
need to let it fully heal.
And not to mention in Kazuna's case, she already has back issues.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. That is a really good point. You rewind back months ago, she was wrestling countlessly with the schedule Marigold had in a back brace. 20 years old, 21
Mm-hmm.
now, wrestling in a back brace. That is not normal for somebody of not only her size, but of her age.
Yep. That's when I said like, okay, you have this like you have to be stopped from yourself. And like I said with Sari, this is a situation where her body's telling her you have to be stopped from yourself.
Yes.
Which, like I said, hopefully, like I said, she takes time to fully recover. Because obviously, one good thing you take advantage of when you have to do this, you get to heal other injuries
Yes.
that you may have. So she takes time to fully rest up. Obviously, like one thing that you mentioned, like when you talked about Amisore, is the fact that, like I said, Stardom kept her busy. Like
Yes.
she was a lot of times in like meet and greets on commentary.
Yep.
She was still busy throughout, which made it more people a lot more anticipatory when she came back. Because
Absolutely.
it took a while, folks. It took a while for her to come back. It got to a point where it started to be worrisome. I'll admit.
Yeah. Was it about what, a year and a half almost?
Mm-hmm. because like for like 7 months, everybody was just like, okay, this is gonna be the show where she comes back. This is when she comes back, and every single time she didn't, it got a little bit more worrisome.
Yeah, but she wanted to make sure.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
think I think
that's
that's really what it came down to.
yep, and that's a sign of, like I said, of being responsible. Like
Yeah,
Seri, you should do the same. Trust as much, like I said, as hyperbolic as people can be, and as dramatic as people can be, especially with a promotion like Marigold that is still very, very young.
yes.
And even though in this short amount of time they've already grown to being, at least when it comes to revenue and attendance,
Hmm.
being the number two Joshi company in Japan, they're gonna be okay. Like they do have students in the dojo that are probably gonna be able to come in late next year. And Rossi did say that he does have other bullets in the chamber
Yes.
that he's gonna be willing to use. So Sari, like I said, take your time, but take this as a lesson too. Like you don't have to rely on this getting it to this point in order to take care of yourself, and especially if you feel like you have to lead a promotion.
Yes. And, you know, wish her speedy recovery. And I have no doubt that when she comes back, she'll be back in the, up and coming title pictures. She'll be booked strong. And honestly, may have to work off some rust if necessary. But I think she will definitely get back to the level and then some with where she was.
Yeah,
I'm just bummed that we're gonna have to wait on that rubber match between her and Senka Akatsuki.
it's not only that, like she suggested a team up, and Senka was not. She wasn't against it.
That is true.
Like she wasn't against it, and so there's that automatically puts them on the collision course. I said it, like her, like Sari and Senka, more than likely then versus Spark Rush.
Indeed. Indeed. But yeah, speedy recovery for the super rookie Seri Yamaoka and everybody else on that Mari Gold roster out with injuries. Speedy recovery. Look forward to when the time comes of their return.
Mm.
So, so to move on to the next subject, I wanted to talk about something that I thought was really, really cool. Something that the Sendai Girls Joshi Pro Wrestling promotion, shout out to Meiko Satomura. Um, they got something really cool that they got brewing. They just launched a crowdfunding campaign to provide 900 special free seats for the children for pro wrestling shows. And this crowdfunding campaign will go on from now until June 28th. And the target amount, they're trying to raise 3 million yen. And the funds will be used for ticket cost, for the invited seats, securing seats, operational expenses, paying, ushers, guidance, things like that. Each
Mm-hmm.
of the necessary finances. And right now, out of their target 3 million yen, they have raised 1,745,000 yen. So, wow, they are more than halfway there.
Yeah, within a day.
Yeah. So, still got a ways to go. They've had well over 100 supporters contributing to this cause, and it's really cool that the whole message, they want to be a source of inspiration for the children. And one of the things that they mentioned in their article, like it says here, and I quote, professional wrestling has an intensity and emotion that can only be truly appreciated by watching it live. However, in recent years, due to factors such as rising prices, children have been spending less on sports and entertainment. Opportunities to touch them are not frequent. We want the children who will shape the future to experience professional wrestling that will truly move them. And with that in mind, we launch this project. Watching them fight all their might in the ring close up will be an unforgettable experience for the children. We will inspire new dreams and challenges. I think that's incredible. Your thoughts on this campaign?
Well, the main thing with this campaign, I will always say, is you can never ever go wrong with saying that you wanted to do things for the children,
Mm-hmm.
especially in a country like Japan, who has the demographic issues when it
Right.
comes to birth rates and the population aging. You want to give kids a chance to watch something that they can always live up to, and not to mention also, like I said, to help expand the overall audience. Because one thing that people, at least people that haven't really looked at the history of Joshi before, they used to have a lot of ebb and flows because one, it was just all Japan women. There was the only game in town for a good amount of time, and also their flow was mainly based upon their acts being a little bit more like pop idols in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had ebb and flows where they had young women, but around the 80s, once JWP, LLPW opened up and more of the promotions opened up, and with the retirement, obviously, of the Crush Gals,
Mm-hmm.
she goes in the
Yes.
guy online as Asuka,
Mm-hmm.
the audience of a lot of young girls did go away and got replaced by adult to middle aged men. And since then, it has not shifted back.
That's a
And
good point. It's a very
yeah,
good point.
and doing something like this, especially with the goal that Sendai Girls has in mind, particularly Big Hash, in that she wants the Nippon Budokan.
Yes. That is their goal. As she announced, that is their goal.
Mm-hmm. And if she wants to do that with the Nippon Budokan, that's not going to fill up with just regular fans on their own.
Right.
You're going to need families, which if it means families, it's kids.
Yep.
And it's like I said, it's a great endeavor. I'm glad that they're like it's within a day. They're already almost halfway through the goal. I want to be surprised if we wake up tomorrow or if you're having lunch tomorrow, you hear that they reached that goal.
Yeah. Like it's crazy that just like this, because this was posted literally today,
Yeah.
and already more than halfway there. Like just within 100 people supporting. Like
Yep.
that's that's phenomenal. And to go into detail, um, so this campaign is to span across three Sendai Girls shows, and the three shows are the July 12th show, which is the Senjo the biggest show, so that's a big upcoming show. July 12th at the Zebio Arena, Sendai. You have the August 28th show, which will be at the National Yoyogi Stadium, second gymnasium. And then October 10th at the Sendai Sun Plaza Hall. Those are the three main shows that they're running this campaign for. Now, with the invitation itself, the target audience are children mainly between elementary school up to high school students. That's the target demographic for this campaign. Um, the recruitment will be conducted through the organizations and related institutions. A certain number of people will be invited for each tournament. It'll be a lottery or selection based on the number of applicants. But the fact of the matter is, whoever gets picked or whatnot, like I said, free seat to this event. So it's a pretty big deal. And the 3 million yen takes care of the costs for the tickets, for the invited seats, as well as other operational costs. So that covers so much. And and you know, I like you said, would not be surprised if they hit this goal like within the next day or so. And there's more for all those watching. If you're interested, you can support this campaign, and there are prizes, there are different tiers for each amount that you decide. And bro, I think you're gonna like these tiers. I looked at this earlier, but check this out. So 3,000 yen, you get a thank you message from the players. Um, just a simple thank you message like via email. For 5,000 yen, you get a video message of gratitude from each of the players. If you do 10,000 yen, you get special video message and they shout out your name. Um, and you also you'll have your name displayed on a panel inside the venue. Um, you also have a Fairy limited edition T-shirt as well. So this is under the 10,000 yen, and I think you get to pick between the three, so you get some choices. For 30,000 yen, your name will be included in the end credits, and you'll have your name etched in history as a supporter um, for the tournament, and also a Blu-ray disc plan as well. Um, oh, this is a big one. For 50,000 yen, if you donate 50,000, you get to participate in the harvest rice crop plan. You know how they usually do some of their outdoor agricultural training?
Yep.
You get to participate in that.
That is very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, folks, like I said, for like us here, we're in the US, it'll be kind of hard to try to get myself into it. Although we know yourself, Blitz, you're gonna have a trip in Japan almost right around that time.
Yeah. From what I've heard from others that have posted, word is they do take Visa MasterCard. So it may not be impossible for foreigners to contribute. So
Yeah.
just a FYI there.
Yep. And
And we got a little bit more because for 100,000 yen, you'll get a special invitation, a premium reward where you get to go backstage before a match. Um, and you get a special commemorative photo shoot with all of the Sendai Girls wrestlers. So you get the backstage access. Yeah.
Yeah, that's that is a money seller for a lot of reasons. Now, I don't know if you have it on hand just to give folks a bit of a marker to what they need to do. What is the current exchange rate right now between the dollar and the yen?
So the current exchange rate right now for 1 yen, it's equal to about 0.0063 US dollars. So you get you get quite a good amount in the exchange from US dollar to yen because the yen is the weaker currency.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, like for example, about $100, 100 US dollars is about 15,926 yen. Um, a million yen in US dollars is about 6,281 US dollars.
Yeah. Now think about that, folks. They're asking about the equivalent of less than $20,000.
Yeah,
Let's help them get over that line.
yes. Um, Another option that you can choose with the 100,000 yen tier is you get a special custom design 2026 Sendai Girls tracksuit. Like for example, if you know you can't make it to the show or whatnot, you can go with that plan and they can have that custom made for you and shipped to you.
If they say if you're a fan of collecting the tracksuits, it is one of probably the best merchandise to get in Joshi. You might want to jump on that, folks, especially if you know you're not going to be able to make the shows.
Yeah. Um, and not only that, for 300,000 yen, they will do, and this is only for the Tohoku region. If you're in this area, they will bring a traveling Sendai Girls training circle straight to your area.
A
And
training circle.
yeah, like they'll literally host a training seminar, training circle, but they bring it to you. They come to you. You don't have to go to their dojo or anything. They bring it to you.
That is interesting.
And then the highest tier, 500,000 yen. If you donate that, you get the super VIP treatment where you get to watch Sendai Girls Pro Wrestling matches from the VIP room.
Luxury suites. They are the wave of the future.
Yeah. So, there's just encouragement there that there's rewards for donating. And even with that being said, the fact that they've almost reached their goal, let's hope. And for those out there that plan to, contribute, let's help get them to their goal.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate these type of campaigns, and I'll mention this other one. Of course, folks remember Risa Sarah is trying to launch Wrestle Bingo,
Yep.
and there's quite a bit of difficulty with that, being that it they had to do a crowdfunding campaign for that, plus the location she's trying to make this as a home base, which is her hometown of Sarah in Hiroshima, which is not known for pro wrestling. It's more of an agricultural town. But she wants to bring pro wrestling there to be a focal point. That's going to be difficult. Your thoughts?
When it comes Wrestle Bingo, that has always been interesting considering her Risa Sarah's goal.
Mm-hmm.
Because anywhere in the world, like if you try to bring something like that into an area that's mostly rural, mostly agricultural, you're gonna have your work cut out for you. But obviously, Risa Sarah is a woman that is very passionate about what she does, is very driven by what she does, and is willing to pretty much put her body through almost anything to get things done.
Yep, too true.
So, in that case, I'm more than happy that she's doing that. And like I said, if granted, yeah, it does make more follow up when it comes to what we need to do as far as like being fans and following different promotions.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's not a cash grab, if it's something that's genuinely from the heart, you always want to support that.
Yes, I definitely agree. And I understand it's going to take time. It's it's a big dream with a lot of difficulties, but at the same time, she's a very well known and very well respected, well, now former pro wrestler, but still a lot to really be able to utilize to really get this going. And me being someone, I got a chance to meet Risa Sarah to meet and greet at a prominent show my first time in Japan. She is awesome. She's really cool. Um, and I really hope this goes well for her. I really do. I mean, for her to be able to run a promotion in her neck of the woods and it grow to success, I mean, I would love that for her.
Yeah. Particularly when it comes to Denise and oh, I just saw it. Saw the little news drop you put in.
Yeah, give it to us. Let
Uh
us know.
like folks like we were worried about Mayu's toe not healing right and the possibility of surgery. Well, luckily the human body's starting to act the way the human body's supposed to.
Yes.
It looks like it is healing properly and she has avoided surgery.
Yes. Big news.
Yeah, that's a good amount of that's news that Margot did need to hear after this. It kind of feels like having a little bit of that Full Metal Alchemist equivalent exchange thing happening.
Yes. Good reference.
Yeah, but like I said, they do need it. And like I said, hopefully that doesn't push Mayu to rush into things. Hopefully. Mayu, please sit down.
Yeah. Still stay seated. But this is good to hear that there's progress. Really, really good to hear. Now, some questionable things as far as how things are done in the right kind of order have taken place. Let me elaborate. So, it has been confirmed that in 2 days, May 30th, AEW Collision, we're going to get a match, from my take, a rematch from their Spark Joshi title match in Houston last year, as Maya World is set to go one on one with Wildheart, Hazuki, featuring Persephone on commentary. But there was a catch to this, because originally Wildheart Hazuki was supposed to have a match in Kobe and Stardom on May 30th, teaming up with her FWC partner in Koguma to take on Maika and Hanako and Maki Ito Kikyo Furusawa in a three-way tag team match. But Mr. Tony Khan made it plain and clear that it doesn't matter what Stardom had planned. I need Wild Heart Hazuki on AEW May 30th, no questions asked. And not too long ago, got the confirmation that Hazuki will be absent for the Kobe show on May 30th and will be taking the booking AEW Collision. Um, your thoughts on how that went down?
Well, on one end, if you don't want to look at it from the AEW side, obviously Hazuki has been announced for the Own Heart tournament
Yes.
against, if I'm correct, against Persephone.
Yes.
So it kind of makes sense to build up to the match. And we also do know, like that, we don't know the full status of if Persephone's injuries have healed up enough for the match to go as well as it should.
Right.
But that's not the issue here. The issue is that, and this wasn't a situation where they people got announced things at the same time and didn't bother. Stardom announced Hazuki being in two cards this weekend.
Yes.
A day, literally, I think on Wednesday, which was yesterday. And normally in a good relationship after that, even though we know that you already decided that, hey, Hazuki's going to participate in the Owen Hart tournament, you would think that you would have the good grace to say, like, okay, I'm not going to try to take her away from him that soon. Maybe I'll do it at the next Dynamite or an ROH show that might be in between. No, you decided to just bully it and do it the day after, knowing full well the Stardom now has to reschedule and rehash their cards.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, this got me thinking of the fact that remember when we talked about yesterday, when it came to the sale of New Japan,
Mm-hmm.
we talked about the potential change of the relationship to AEW.
Yes.
We know some people, like I said, in the Joshiverse, feel that the situation is not going to change because Tony Khan talks to obviously Hiroshi Tanahashi, who's still the president of New Japan,
Mm-hmm.
Rocky Romero, who handles a lot of the US stuff. So they stayed like, oh, he has a good relationship with them. But I pointed out, like, those people have bosses.
Yeah.
And Tony Khan made a good relationship with the Bushiroad owner, Mr. Kadani. And it shows a little bit how that relationship still plays it over here because he didn't give Terracotta pretty much any choice
Right.
as far as the date. He said, nope, I need her to do this now because I need to build up my card.
Yes.
And the only way I could see justify this is if Hazuki's gonna have an actual run in the Owen Hart tournament. I don't think that's the case. I think they made that match for Persephone to win.
Mm-hmm.
So you already had also this situation happen. We did mention this as well, that Yoda Suji did put out his thoughts about how one-sided the relationship seems to was between New Japan and AEW under the Bushiroad umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
you're not exactly you're not beating the allegations there, Mr. Khan, with
Exactly.
with a move like this. And the more looks of it that way, the more, if it's getting to the point, the more Stardom doesn't look like they're an equal partner in this.
Equal? Nah, I wouldn't say that.
Yeah. It doesn't look to be the case. It looks like Terracotta's just going to have to bend to what will that Tony Khan has, because obviously Tony Khan has a bigger checkbook.
Oh yeah, loaded.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really interesting considering that, you know, it's been advertised with this, but also you got Forbidden Door, and not too long ago announced Global Wars Cincinnati, and Stardom is one of the featured promotions. So I think it's safe to say it is possible that this same type of booking sort of like crossover overlapping is going to happen again.
Yeah. And what's going to be interesting when it comes into that New Japan event, is the fact, like I said, since they're no longer within the same company, Stardom doesn't have to participate.
Yeah.
They legitimately don't.
As a,
And
yeah.
the funny part about it is that they don't have a situation like Noah. Like Noah technically has like an unofficial women's division
Unofficial. Yeah.
in a way. Like with like obviously with wrestlers like the great Sakaya.
Yes.
So they have like I said, unofficial women's division they can rely on. New Japan doesn't have that. That was Stardom by default, and now that's no longer the case.
Yeah. Especially considering, Stardom isn't quote unquote a women's division. It's a women's promotion. So they kind of had to like treat it like a women's division.
Yeah. So I don't know how they're going to. I don't know how they're going to really, really be able to pull that off. But like I said, it's already kind of you're not beating the allegations when it comes into being somewhat of a bully with the checkbook to get things the way you want it done. Especially in a situation like this where you put Stardom in a very, very peculiar spot,
Mm-hmm.
because one thing that we did mention, one thing that we got excited about actually,
Mm-hmm.
is the fact that we know the Sai Kamitani is going to be making her US debut soon.
Yep.
And as far as uh in that role as the Phoenix Queen.
Yes.
But she's not doing it with AW, she's doing it with MLW.
Yep. And what he's talking about, ladies and gentlemen, is, through the partnership MLW and Stardom, one of their first moves will be hosting Rena and the Phoenix Queen Sai Kamatani for an upcoming show or two or three this June.
Mm-hmm. And because that's the case, you may not want to burn the bridge, because obviously for AW fans, Saya has been one of those wrestlers that they desperately wanted to show up, whether
Yeah.
it's been Forbidden Door or even worse, All In.
Yeah.
And like I said, Saya's let it be known that she didn't really like working US states as much.
Right.
You might not want to give her a reason to rethink that again.
Exactly.
So
I mean,
that's it. Just be careful.
I was blessed and thankful to get a chance to meet her in Philadelphia a couple of years ago. Um, and I definitely embrace that considering, you know, these type of opportunities end up being rare. And, I'm thankful this year that we were able to see Rina have a U.S. debut. We were able to see Aya Sakura, Natsupoi. A lot of fans feel like Natsupoi was a long time coming. So I just really feel like they gotta do a better job of communicating, especially from Tony Khan's side. And I think a concern that I have is they don't want to burn bridges and they don't want to like take advantage. Because here's the thing, and I had mentioned this before, I think there's a grand opportunity that AEW, MLW, and CMLL talent could be featured in this year's 5-star Grand Prix. But Tony Khan could easily screw that up. So,
There's that, and I'm going to mention this again. We did talk about the possibility of maybe, given the circumstances, Forbidden Door becoming that all women's show that AW fans have been wanting Tony Khan to do for a good while.
yeah,
Again, don't give them don't give them reason to rethink this.
yes. Because at the end of the day, a partnership should not be one sided. I mean,
That I agree.
because it defeats the purpose of a partnership.
Yeah.
But we'll see how Hazuki's AEW debut goes against Maya World. Like I said, at least it's a talent that she's wrestled before, so it's a familiar face. And I'm sure we'll get more information from Persephone on what's to come. Because at the end of the day, she was designated as out indefinitely, which doesn't mean a set timetable. It could be anything. So, something to keep in mind. And
Exactly.
same thing with Seri. Um, it's going to take a month off, but from the time that she started, it would have still been enough for her, if everything goes well with the recovery, for her to still do the tournament. All we can do is wait and trust that they'll govern themselves accordingly and update the card when necessary. After all, cards subject to change exists for a reason.
Mm-hmm. That the old one of the oldest Carney cards in the book. It exists for a reason.
Exactly. Now, as we're winding down, it's time for the main event. And once again, I'm thankful to have you on here for this one because it was rough for me to do this particular segment on my own, but I think we have a chance of making it at least entertaining. So, WWE Clash in Italy is the upcoming PLE for World Wrestling Entertainment,
Mm-hmm.
which happens to be on my birthday, May 31st, Sunday, um, 2 p.m. at the Enalpi Arena in Turin, Italy. Um, 5 matches on the card, 4 title matches, one rematch,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not too crazy thrilled about the card and in general about a lot of what's happened to the buildup of said card. But, well, let's do this. All I know is y'all have been warned. First match, and this is in no particular order. First match, we have the run back from WrestleMania 42. Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar, round 2. Now, as we both know, Obafemi got the best of Brock Lesnar, and I don't think the match was even 3 or 4 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And Obafemi was able to put away Brock Lesnar. He hit one fall from grace power bomb, and that was enough to put him away. Oba even ate an F5 and was able to kick out of that. We all thought, I mean, I'm sure some of us thought Brock Lesnar was retiring. No. Came back, jumped Obafemi, gave him like 3 F5s. They did the contract signing, which was pretty much exactly the same way they did the WrestleMania contract signing. And here we are, round 2. Rawkus, what you got?
Well, like we mentioned, if you genuinely thought that Brock Lesnar was actually retiring at WrestleMania, I have a pen. I have a penthouse in Minnesota to sell you, a beach house in Minnesota to sell you.
Uh-oh.
It's been pretty evident that if Lesnar is gonna retire, he's gonna want to do it as close to home as he can, which is obviously this year with SummerSlam being in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Yep.
The first, keep in mind, the first in a while, if I remember correctly, 2-night SummerSlam.
Yes.
And because if you have that happening, a retirement in Vegas wouldn't make sense. So obviously, in this case, everybody pretty much expects Brock is going to get his win back. And I understand there's an argument to say that would deflate Obafemi's momentum. Like you took away like one of the big cachets that he had, because it's pretty obvious he's not going to have that in SummerSlam.
Right.
Because one of the other matches that Brock Lesnar has been rumored in, and has been rumored with for the past couple of years for WrestleMania, has been him versus Gunther.
Yes.
And Gunther's current gimmick right now is the career killer.
Yeah.
Like he has claimed the scalps of John Cena. He has claimed the scalp of AJ Styles.
Yes.
So maybe then Brock Lesnar is gonna be an addition to his collection. Now, the issue is gonna be, how do you get there? Because storyline wise, Gunther helped Paul Heyman out by not put him in some issues involving Division and Seth Rollins. And he said, I'm only doing it for a favor. We all thought and are still thinking correctly that the favor is to get that match with Lesnar. To be the one to him to retire the beast. But then like they did this convoluted thing where the favor was him getting the match with Cody at Clash of Italy. Like I said, the match we're going to talk about for soon, which I do believe that's one of the matches that's going to be showing on the free hour at ESPN. But then, like I said, they had that build up. They had the whole thing with Royce Keys. And now you have this situation where Brock is back. You need to find a way to wrap that run around saying, like, no, that wasn't the favor that I asked of you. I want this favor. And Lesnar would be fair for Lesnar to retire in Minnesota. Now, granted, We know the Janelle Grant situation.
Yes.
We know his implications from there. We know that from a certain logic, he should be nowhere near WWE right now, a WWE ring.
That's a good point. Yep.
But the fortunate fact is, folks, TKO wants him there. And so TKO brought him here. So if that's the case, then and if he is gonna that said actually retire, you might as well let him retire on that term. Because one key factor that I do have to say, this is only a technicality. This is only from a legal standpoint, because
Okay.
the things in that lawsuit that supposedly Lesnar had Janelle Grant do are horrifying. Are things that if you have a daughter, if you have a niece, you never want any man to ask your daughter or your niece or your grandchild to do. The only technicality that you can say that saves him in this case is the fact that he was not named as a defendant in that lawsuit.
Right.
He's a major part of it, but he's not a defendant. I don't know how Janelle Grant's lawyers told her not to put him as a defendant, but that's where we are. That's the main card that allows Lesnar to wiggle his way there. Other that, and also Dana White. Let's be blunt. Then Dana White. So it is what it is in this case, unfortunately. Femi has shown that he has the charisma. He has the promo skills. And he just has an overall it factor that people picked up upon immediately.
Agreed. Indeed.
Yeah. And so I don't think him losing to Lesnar is going to hurt that. And you can make the case that, yeah, he should be undefeated. He's still going to have a challenge. He's still probably going to have an open challenge.
Yeah.
On Raw. And that's where you can try to bring in more people, more factors into that way. Because, like, folks, like, yeah, he has it. Like him, I'll take the page from Africana one. Like WWE's future is black. Not just in the money line, but look at who they have lined up: Femi, Trick Williams, Carmelo Hayes, Javon Evans, Ricky Saints. And they have at least 2 or 3 other people now lined up also in NXT, including Jasper Troy.
Yes.
They have a very, very good future when it comes to that black talent at this stage. You just make sure that they treat it, that they get booked properly and treated right. But all of those people that I mentioned, Trick Williams has the same it factor. Has the audience eating at the palm of his hand. Makes you forget the little Yachty somewhere lurking in between.
Right.
Carmelo Hayes, same type of vibe. It took him a little bit, unfortunately, because he had, unfortunately, a little bit of hiccups converting himself to the main roster, but doing the open challenge for the U.S. Championship helped him out immensely. And I get how some people can be annoyed at the direction they have with Sami Zayn, but it's actually in the way.
Yeah.
It's waste. It may be genius in a way, because he was a heel character before, but he never was like an evil mastermind. He was always like kind of the goofy, semi-comical heel character.
Yep, makes sense.
And in doing so, he was able to help build up a lot of stars. He's doing that right now with Trick Williams. He's doing that right now with Carmelo Hayes. So there's that factor. Javon Evans, like his skill sets alone, like you see that match with Penta, you think that's an AEW match. You would think that's an AEW match. and they're probably gonna run that back at SummerSlam. What I'm thinking, you have that. Yeah, well, with like I said, yeah, well, with Femi, obviously with the charisma, you have Ricky Saints that, yes, I kind of get it. A lot of his act is after The Rock, but if you got it, you flaunt it.
Yeah, you definitely flaunt it for sure.
Yeah. So in that sense, they're not going to be hurt by it. They would have been majorly hurt, like already. Granted, if it was Vince McMahon running things,
Yeah.
but as much crap as Triple H gets, a lot of it justifiable. A lot of it's justified,
Yes.
but he does know how to book certain talents, no matter what MVP says when it comes to him. Because but in this case, like I said, it won't hurt. It won't hurt Obafemi if Brock wins. Like, because what it's going to be like the second to last match of his career,
Yeah.
and then Lesnar luckily has been smart enough to know that he doesn't have to go full Hogan as far as like saying like I'm not going to lose to this guy.
Yeah.
He's willing to lose to people that he feels they could take it on.
Yeah. I definitely got to agree. I am actually picking Brock Lesnar to win. And, I got to also remind the fans, especially in agreement that this, Obafemi losing won't hurt him so bad. We have to also keep in mind that he got rolled up in NXT by Tony D'Angelo when Tony D'Angelo won the North American Championship.
Mm-hmm.
So Oba had no problem bouncing back from that and pushing forward. So
Yep.
I
Oh,
think
let's not
we can
forget too.
expect.
Not
Yep.
forget too. He did that also too with Ricky Saints.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Good point. Ricky Saints as well. Sure did. So Obafemi will be fine, but yeah, I got Brock Lesnar getting his lick back and evening the score. Uh, who do you have?
Yep, I have Lesnar getting his stick back.
Alrighty, cool deal. Now let's get into some championship matches. We're gonna switch to the ladies. We got the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship on the line as the champion Becky Lynch defends against Sol Ruca. I'm gonna let you begin on this one.
Now, if you feel, folks, that this is a major factor in the disease of where WWE does the same match a little bit too often, you would think that's the case because they had this match as Saturday night's main event.
Yeah.
They did, but luckily the thing about it is, and I know I've heard people already complain that Ruca, yeah, she lost. She's been doing nothing but losing
Yep.
since coming up to the main roster. I'm like, that's understandable, but it's
Yep.
not like she's getting really jobbed out in a way. Like in this case, in Saturday night's main event, it was just basically Becky Lynch being smart enough to get away from the Soul Snatcher, and the referee not being smart enough to get away from the Soul Snatcher.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. She's also another person that all she really has to do is do the Soul Snatcher. She'll have the crowd eating out of her hand.
Exactly. And it's like, what did it expect in the first place? Considering her first match on the main roster was against Io Sky,
Yeah,
and she wasn't beaten. She wasn't gonna beat no Io Sky.
yeah, like it's in that case. But also consider this: you have to consider the folks if you're in the audience. If you're having your first match be against Io, and then your first feud is against Becky Lynch,
Yeah.
I think the company kind of holds her in high praise if you have that trajectory going.
It's big
Now,
time.
yeah. Now, to be fair, luckily also Becky Lynch with this title has been surprisingly entertaining.
Yep.
She's been able to figure out. It took her a year, and then going back to be babyface for news again. She's figured out the big time Bex character,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and luckily, it's also helped that belt, particularly the women's Intercontinental title, have a little bit of prestige.
Well, I still think it has a ways to go
Yeah,
because here's my thing. Like, okay, the belt got established in November of 2024. And already in 6 reigns total, Becky Lynch has 3 of them. Like, which means Becky Lynch, Lyra Valkyria, Maxine Dupree, and AJ Lee. That's 4 ladies that have held this belt, and one of them has held this belt 3 times. Like, it's kind of wild.
it is in that way. Like I said, I can understand people. I can understand that sentiment because it's obviously a sentiment that you don't want to have, but at the same time, this is not a Becky Hogan situation. But it also is one of the knocks we have in WWE because there's an entire locker room in Raw that could easily be challenging for that belt.
True. Yeah, that's a good point.
But the fact is, you're not having Ruca do it, and I do think that Ruca is going to win this match.
Really? And
Mm-hmm.
become the new champ?
Because,
Interesting.
like I mentioned, Becky has dropped it before. Granted, where she dropped it to AJ Lee, and
Maxine Dupree. Yep.
yeah, and it's true, Maxine Dupree. So she is willing to drop it. She is willing to see how the young kids and AJ Lee, to be fair,
Yeah.
it, even though, like I said, AJ Lee's younger than both of us,
Yes.
to see how they do with it when it comes to the pressure of getting the belt. Maxine, she probably would have dealt with it from a promo standpoint, but she was not ready from a skill standpoint. Not yet. Give her a little bit of time. She's willing to learn.
Right.
Soul's right there. Soul is ready. We've seen that North American run that she had in NXT.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that is one of the best runs. Like, and her that rivalry that she had with Kalani Jordan.
Mm-hmm. Not to mention she became a double champ.
Yep. With the WWE speed belt, which somehow still lives. I love it.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. But at the same time, it shows that they said the company is willing to put the backing on it. And I could see them doing it in this case.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is also true. One of the things that Triple H does rely on as a crutch is the open challenge concept.
True.
Why not have Soul win it and then have that be the Intercontinental Open Challenge?
Think you're definitely onto something there. Um, and you got me convinced. I'm gonna go Sol Ruca as well, especially considering she's yet to win on the main roster, and this, like you said, Becky Lynch is capable of dropping the title. I mean, being that she's dropped it to Maxine Dupree and to AJ Lee, you know. So yeah, you know what? I'm in agreement. Sol Ruca to win and become the new WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion.
Mm-hmm. All right, we got the ball rolling there.
Can dig that. Now we're going to, you know what? We're going to stay with the ladies as we switch over now to the WWE Women's Championship match. As the champion, Rhea Ripley will defend against former champion Jade Cargill. To be honest with you, I'll go right on ahead and say this is an easy pick for me. I got Rhea Ripley retaining. Um, I can't really see Jade Cargill winning this back. I'm sure BFAB and Meechin may interfere or whatnot, but I think Rhea Ripley retains.
Yeah, there's not much you can do for that aspect. When it comes to in ring, like I said, I understand why they put Jade immediately on the main roster. I get why. She has the look.
Yeah, for sure she has the look. Yeah.
She has the look, but I think she should have done a year in NXT.
Oh, absolutely. I am 1,000,000% agree.
Yeah. Because she could have worked on a lot of when it came to the skill set.
Yep.
Probably gotten a little bit better more in the promo game, although I'll admit she has been improving on that.
Yes.
And just be more overall polished, because that is unfortunately the bad thing with wrestling. We can get fixated on the look, but
Yep.
then everything else is pretty bad. It's like kind of having, it would be like, the best analogy I could probably say is if you have a Ferrari,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a Pinto engine
Oh,
underneath.
jeez.
I'm not saying Jade is that bad, but it's close.
Yeah, yeah. It's okay. You can be honest.
Yeah,
You can be
it's
honest.
close to it's close to being there. Like, she's gotten better, folks. She has gotten better. But also it's the fact that when she had that belt, she didn't defend it much.
Right.
So if she didn't defend it much, she didn't wrestle much, how do you expect her to improve? So,
This is true.
like I said, in this case, I could get them putting it back on Jade, and then maybe having somebody like Jordan Grace or maybe even Julia come in to try to challenge it. But then at the same time, like I said, you're expecting Jordan Grace and Julia to lead Jade on the match.
Yeah.
And like I said, she's not as bad as Bob Sapp. Not as bad as Bob Sapp.
uh,
But she's pretty close to that area. And I know also, like, one of the shields that she has is she is a Cody student,
true.
obviously.
True.
But yeah, like, Rhea should, easy decision. Rhea should retain, and like I mentioned, she can easily do that a program with Jordan Grace. She can easily do that program with Julia. She can do that program with Charlotte. That looks like they're going to wind up doing again.
Oh yeah, good point.
Yeah, which that's one of the ones I'm tired of. Like, do the one, do it with Alexa. Like, come on, give Alexa a little bit of a chance.
Yeah. Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit of a chance, because like we've seen Rhea and Charlotte enough times to know what to expect.
Yes. Yes.
So that shouldn't play a factor to it. But like I said, she's had matches with Jordan Grace. She's had matches with Julia. And those are two wrestlers that kind of need a better creative direction than what they currently have.
Mm-hmm.
And Rhea Ripley probably is the better equipped person to do that. So it should be Rhea Ripley.
Yeah. I'm in agreement. Rhea Ripley to retain. And there is a clip of Mayu walking up and down stairs and squatting and
God
okay.
damn it.
Oh my
Mayu,
god.
no. You no. If Mayu, if you see the caller ID say Ibushi, no, hang up.
Uh, Ladies and gentlemen, we apologize for that. Oh man. Okay, let's relock in here. Next match. Let's see. This is for the undisputed WWE Championship. As the champion, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes defends against the Ring General, Gunther.
Good.
Now, it's so interesting being that the last time these two had a match, afterwards they ended up shaking hands,
Mm-hmm.
which was the same thing that happened after Gunther and Randy Orton had their match. They ended up shaking hands. So it's like, I don't know, this them running this again is just really weird, in my honest opinion. Uh, but part of me could see the idea of Gunther winning for the sake of setting up the opening to Gunther defending the title against Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. I think that's a possibility, but when it comes to high profile matches, Cody Rhodes has been able to, outlast and usually pick up the victory. But you know what? I'm going to take a gamble and say Gunther for the win. What you got?
Yeah, this match kind of came out of the blue, and I will admit, like a couple of weeks ago, I thought they were gonna do curveball and do an audible when they had Royce Keys come out,
Ah,
and like in a short amount of time, they made Royce Keys
yeah,
in that match with Gunther. Like he showed that he can hang. And now, granted, like you have him in the storyline right now with Sokoa, the MFT,
yeah,
but there's a lot of weirdness happening with the MFT, especially now that Tangaloa and Jeff Cobb are no longer there.
right.
But they're making it work a little bit somehow. But the thing with Cody, it's interesting. He's in the same trajectory right now with WWE fans that he was with AEW fans, where they started to not click with him anymore.
Right.
They were starting to
Yes.
get tired
Good
of him.
point.
But it doesn't look like the WWE fans want to fully go in that direction. Like
Yeah.
every
Agreed.
single time, like you feel like, okay, they're starting to get tired of him. He's no longer like the top merch seller. I think it's probably Danhausen, if I'm correct.
Yeah, close enough. Yeah.
Yeah. And once you think you're getting in that direction, he pulls off the promos that he does,
Hmm.
and the crowd gets right back in his corner. Because those promos don't work in AEW, because those crowds don't like those promos. WWE crowds, they love them.
Yeah, they eat them up. They eat them
Yeah.
up.
And one thing that would probably help when it comes to this situation from Cody, okay, you win, you get something out of it, and you kind of already have, thanks to the situation of Royce Keys, you already have a ready next challenger coming in, and you know somebody that you worked with well in AEW, and you can lead the match to it. And if the Gunther match didn't make him, a match for Cody will.
Yeah.
So, and well, I can see where you're going with the fact that Brock challenging for the WWE title at SummerSlam for his retirement match would be able to work. it's still, unfortunately, on paper, like I said, take it everything else out of the equation.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a good enough match on paper where a belt isn't needed. So I'm actually gonna say the American Nightmare. Like I said, this is one of the matches, folks, that is gonna be on the free ESPN hour for this for Clash of Italy.
Yes.
I I think the American Nightmare is gonna win this match. It'll probably be another be a scrappy match,
Mm-hmm.
and I wouldn't be surprised. I'm gonna throw an interesting wrench into this angle.
Okay.
If the other storyline that's been happening with the MFTs, which is the slow dissension of Tamatonga, what if that starts to come into fruition via Shinsuke Nakamura?
It would be nice because he's been needing something for a long time. So I would totally be for that because he needs something.
Yeah,
He needs something.
that's probably the first match that we don't agree with, but hey, it happens.
Yeah, it definitely does happen. And then next, what I assume will be the main event of Clash in Italy. And this is not just any title match. This is tribal combat for the World Heavyweight Championship and the title of Tribal Chief. So you got 2 for 1 here. As the champion and Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns will defend against the Samoan werewolf, Jacob Fatu. Now, I want to note that Roman Reigns is 3-0 in tribal combat. So, or actually, he's 2-0. This is his chance to become 3-0 in
Mm-hmm.
tribal combat. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm ready for the whole bloodline angle to end. This whole bloodline thing has been going on for many years, and it's gotten to the point where it's like too much. So, I mean, part of me is all for the fact of seeing things shaken up in a big way, and perhaps Jacob Fatu wins this tribal combat and becomes champion and new tribal chief. I'm very curious to see how that could play out. But at the same time, it would not shock me at all if Roman Reigns retained. So that's all I
Yeah.
can say. What are your thoughts on this one?
Oh, tribal combat. You
Yeah.
are dangerously becoming close to the Punjabi prison match as far as the caliber of gimmick matches.
Yeah.
Because obviously it is just a hardcore match, Extreme Rules match. In that sense. With the added obviously bloodline lore,
Yes.
which folks I can completely understand people being tired of it. Like one of the worst things that Paul Heyman would have said when he was still with Roman Reigns and they were still doing those press conferences.
Mm-hmm.
When they asked him how far along we are, he said we're in the third inning.
Ah. Yeah.
And this was like, I think, right as we're getting close to the match with Cody, I think, for Mania 39 or Mania 40. But either way, that's when you've been telling the story for close to 4 or 5 years and you're already saying you're barely a third of the way through, it can burn people out. Now, obviously, you've had little detours here, mainly Jey Uso
Yep.
as World Heavyweight Champion. I will say, I don't think that reign was as bad as people think,
Mm.
but it does unfortunately get magnified pretty bad because Jey Uso was able to take one word that has been in the urban lexicon for decades
Oh yeah.
and turned it into a dance. So, and that's the main factor when it came to Jey Uso. Like he's only the Yeet. He's only the Yeet man.
He's the Yeet man.
Yeah. And looking at the other two, looking at the other two matches. Okay, obviously the one with Jay, that was easy. That was early Bloodline.
Yes.
It's easy that Roman would have won that one.
Yes.
The second one is against Solo Sikoa,
Yep.
and that one didn't really make much sense because I know they wanted to build Solo Sikoa of something as something separate
Mm-hmm.
from the Bloodline, but unfortunately got wrapped around it, whether he liked it or not. And it didn't really work.
Oh.
It didn't really work in that sense. If you would have had this Solo Sikoa do that match now, it
Mm-hmm.
might work because Solo has grown into that character.
Yeah. He has.
You don't have those you don't have those reservations with somebody like Jacob Fatu.
No, not at all. Not at all.
He that man, because the main thing also with Jay and Solo has been they both been effectively WWE products. They didn't know anything else except WWE.
Right. Yep. This is true.
We know Jacob is not that person.
Right.
Jacob Fatu has been in those trenches for a good while.
Yes. Yes, he has.
Mm-hmm. And obviously, we know the main reason why is, and also the reason that kept him away from WWE for so long is he does have a pretty substantial criminal record,
Yes.
and it's not for jaywalking either. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's some serious charges in in that criminal record.
Yeah, he's made some boo boos.
Mm-hmm. But despite that, he was able to build a reputation in places like MLW. Like I remember in the when Vice was debating, thinking about going themselves, trying to get a weekly television slot for a wrestling show, which I think became WoW because it only lasted an hour,
Mm-hmm.
was MLW. And it was centered around the match between Jacob Fatu and Alexander Hammerstone.
I remember.
Yep. And they hyped that up like you would expect a heavyweight boxing match to be hyped up.
Yes.
So you know that Jacob can be a top guy in the promotion.
Yes.
The only question that you would have had that you had once he stepped into WWE, because remember he one of those guys also went straight to the main roster.
Yep. Sure did.
Didn't go through NXT, which in his case it wasn't needed. He didn't need to go through NXT.
Agreed.
Is can he adapt to the WWE system? Or can the WWE system adapt to him? I think those two concepts have met in the middle. Like you could tell Jacob has tweaked some things
Right.
to not see him to not see him as wild as he was like in the Indies and MLW.
Mm-hmm.
But the product has slowly started to come to him. The momentum that he was able to gain would not have happened under Vince.
No, no, no way. No
No,
way.
Vince would have tried to sink that as fast as he could.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I think Triple H, to his credit, is letting Jacob run the ball with this.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as I see it, he has hit it out of the park ever since they let him say, like, okay, we need you to be MLW Jacob Fatu.
Oh, yeah.
We need you to be that crazy person. And he's done that with flying colors. And let's not forget the match that he had with Roman for the beforehand for the heavyweight title. Roman didn't exactly win clean there.
This is true. That is a good point.
Mm-hmm. And we also had to take a note of the fact that WWE did take their first initially, they put Roman on the calendar for the tours that would have pretty much let him be a full timer up to SummerSlam. And then suddenly it cuts off at this point in Clash of Italy. I think they decided on the audible
I
because
see.
there is, as much as I get, like, yeah, bloodline lore has to stop. A lot of what people don't like about bloodline lore is it centers around Roman being in charge.
Yeah.
And what if he's not in charge? What if the next arc of the bloodline storyline is now you have the Mad King in charge?
Ooh.
Somebody that's, like I said, not refined in the WWE way,
Right.
but has the realness factor where people can get behind him and cheer him for his flaws.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because we also have to take into account, okay, you have the internal thing with the Usos, particularly with Jay. Jay's always been kind of a person that is open to rebellion once in a little while.
True.
And not to mention, there could be another favorite that could be put into the mix. One Mr. LA Knight, who has made it,
Yeah.
yeah, a man who has made it his mission
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that the bloodline doesn't stay on top.
Right.
I could see the situation where Jacob wins this. Roman takes his normal summer vacation,
Mm-hmm.
and as the tribal chief, Jacob just runs for a rough shot
Mm-hmm.
until he gets to LA Knight.
Ah, okay. I could see that. Yeah, I could
Mm-hmm.
totally see that. And
Because,
this Sunday could be the start of it.
yeah, because what we've learned, like, Roman doesn't need the belts anymore.
Right.
He doesn't. He by hook or by crook, it didn't matter. He is the top guy.
Mm-hmm.
One of the top guys in WWE. And luckily over this decade, he's actually earned it. And we know eventually that was the part-timer situation is always going to come into effect. Hollywood always comes calling.
Yes, yes.
And also, unfortunately, with his situation with always the possibility, unfortunately, of his leukemia coming back.
Right.
He's not going to be in the ring forever.
This is true.
And if you're looking at it from the concept of the Anoa'i family, all they have left in WWE are proven commodities and Solo. Solo has been a better character, but he's not there yet. Where you can legitimately say, okay, top guy, Solo. And they've already tried with Jay to mix results. Where the IWC hates him, but apparently the live crowd loves him.
Yes.
And unfortunately, Jimmy's at the stage where he just had his first child with Naomi, a son. Congratulations, by the way, to the other couple. I'm probably expecting Naomi to come back fairly soon as well. But he's already at that stage in life where I don't think they're going to try to push him towards that area.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's fair.
Yeah. All they have left at that point, if you're going to rely on when it comes to the Anoa'i area, is Jacob.
Yep.
And Jacob has been the character that under the old regime you would never touch.
Got that right. Shoot.
But why not take a chance in this case?
Pull the trigger.
Pull the trigger because, like I said, all I have to do is point at MLW. He's already proven he can lead a company.
Yes.
Let him get the chance to lead them.
I'm all for it. I'm definitely all for it. Will be pretty impactful. They pull the trigger on this one, and we get to see World Heavyweight Champion Jacob Fatu, have a legit reign. But yeah, that is your Clash in Italy card. Like I said, only 5 matches. Typically, WWE PLEs, aside from the major ones, have been about the same size.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that definitely made this preview a lot better with you along for the ride. So, uh, Raucuz, I want to say thank you so much for joining me for this. And I would like to give you the floor to let all the folks know where they can find you, what you've been up to, and any final thoughts, any final words on any subject. The floor
All
is
right.
yours.
All right, folks. Like I said, you see the social there, Rocks99 on Twitter. Yeah, Elon, I'm never calling it X no matter how many times you try to trick me into trying to get premium. I'm never calling it X, but it's pretty much Rocks99 on all socials that I'm able to grab my hands on. IG, Spoutable, Spill, Blue Sky, like that's name. Like I said, also like I said, like I said, co-host of the Pound for Pound Box Report, where good friend Michael Wilson and Gail Farkenthal. Gail wasn't able to go through yesterday, but we did talk about, like I said, good amount of the fights that were coming in. And I did want to highlight one particular fighter.
Sure.
In this case, because I have seen people confuse the name with somebody else that I know you're going to be very familiar with. One Miss Mizuki Hiruta.
Oh, yes, yes.
Like I said, this girl has come in from a gymnastics background. You look at her, she looks like a typical like Japanese like fangirl. And from a looks department, she kind of looks like a mix between Hana Kimura and Azumi.
Ah.
But she is really developed her skills. Obviously, going to LA, training under Manny Robles. And she probably had the best fight of that card that went from bell to bell. Because, like I said, I'm not going to take anything from Frank Sanchez knocking out Richard Torres, and I'm not going to take away from Shiraz, even though that fight was lined up in a T for him.
Mm-hmm.
But keep an eye out with her when it comes to that. And obviously, like I said, I could talk like I said, pretty much anything wrestling, like basketball, politics if you need to. Whenever you're talking to it, and folks, like I said, we're gonna keep an eye on things. And I did just recently upload, like I said, like I did mention it a couple of times. Me and Miss Me and Blitz here, we did record the pod on my end yesterday, talking about obviously Utami coming back to Stardom, literally days after leaving Marigold, and obviously the sale of New Japan to TV Asahi and
Mm-hmm.
Cyber Agent and the ramifications of that.
Indeed. And there's a lot more to look forward to, ladies and gentlemen. And, as Raka said, you like boxing, you gotta check his channel out. You gotta get yourself immersed with other boxing fans and really dive into the deep topics with professional boxing. It's a lot of good stuff there, so definitely check him out. And for all of those that catch this, let us know your thoughts from this video's topics. Let us know how you feeling about the injuries that have been going on with Marigold, especially highlighting the most recent one in Seri Yamaoka. Um, do you believe Marigold is cursed? Let us know your thoughts there. Um, the Sendai Girls for the Children crowdfunding project to raise 3 million yen to get 900 seats for the children secured for 3 upcoming Sendai Girls shows, and to really push towards their goal to hopefully run a show at the Nippon Budokan. Of course, uh, let us know also your thoughts on the whole Hazuki situation and AEW getting double booked and how that was handled. And then let us know your predictions, your thoughts on WWE Clash in Italy. We want to hear from you. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell while you're at it. Thank you so much for watching. Hope y'all enjoyed tonight's video. Once again, Rawkus, thank you so much for joining me. And as usual, more than welcomed back on here anytime you're available, anytime you desire.
Perfect. I just saw the video of Mayu. No, Mayu, no.
Like, dude, she was going up and down the stairs and doing like hops and squats and stuff. I'm just like, Mayu, seriously? Like, oh, chicken.
Yep. Yep. Obviously, folks, if you don't know, Mayu is brain, but her brain is chicken.
Her brain is chicken. Um, just think about somebody that, has made a habit of taking bumps going down entire escalators and flights of stairs. That's Mayu Iwatani. But on that note, for Rawkuz99 and myself, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram, thank y'all so much for watching. We hope everybody has a great night and a good day tomorrow. And we will see y'all in the next video and our live stream. Good night, everybody. God bless. Stay safe. Peace.